Around the world, people are worried about Apex Legends. And not just that about esports, not just that about their jobs, not just that about life itself. And maybe things aren't going the way we had all planned. That is life, of course, and these last 4 years have taken a toll. But in Apex specifically, it's been a game that has lifted us up. Right now, we are going through a phase of transition, and the state of Apex is one that many are concerned about, citing poor Twitch numbers and obviously citing a lack of interest with the casual audience. However, what does that mean for its esport? What does that mean for the future of the game? And where is the game really? Are the numbers to be trusted, or are these just people panicking and doom-splaining like we've seen them do before? Well, I've been in this situation 1,000 times, and I've made videos about this, and I felt it was time for me to make a video about it now, just to give you some opinions on where I think Apex is. Now, as an esports caster, as a content creator from day one in this game, it's been easy to see the big picture with it. Not everyone gets that opportunity, so I always like to, before looking too far ahead forward, take a look at the past. And this past year of Apex has been excellent. After 19 seasons, Apex still finds a way to introduce new and interesting characters, amazingly innovative game modes with collaborations with people like Post Malone. I mean, 3 Strikes was probably the best LTM we have ever seen in Apex, and that just came out a few months ago. And we're continuing to announce amazing things, such as what they announced last night. Apex Legends collabed with Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, making a surprise announcement at the Game Awards. One of those things that Apex loves to do. It seems like Wraith, Horizon, Crypto all getting outfits. There may even be a new limited mode for this, and just seeing the Buster Sword in Crypto's hands instead of the buy one blade is something that I wouldn't have thought of, but clearly the dev team has been working months and months, maybe even years, to pull off, which shows you how far they are thinking about potential collaborations and cool crossovers in this game. And throughout 4 years, 19 seasons later, Apex has still maintained an incredibly consistent player base, not necessarily viewership, but player base, which is the key to a game's success. If you don't have players, it doesn't even matter what your viewership is on Twitch, because that's more representative of somebody like Shroud or Ninja or Ludwig or, you know, Dr. Disrespect's ultimate success, not necessarily the game making money and having players stay and play it. And I even know some things that are coming in January or February that are going to blow your mind as well. I'm very excited to talk about them, but I can't talk about them yet. So I know there's good stuff in the pipeline for Apex, but what does that mean in terms of where the game is going? Because that doesn't really handle the complaints of what has been the major news running around the Apex and Twitch communities, and that is the numbers on Twitch. So let's break it down. Twitch numbers are relatively valuable as an indicator if a game is hyper popular or not, or if a game is hot, I would say. I think every game has its moment in the limelight, and one of the things as a caster, as a content creator, I have to be very cognizant of is if you try to have the limelight forever, at a certain point, you're just going to fall out. Someone else is going to have their day, have their moment. It's going to be another world championship for another game, and you're going to feel sad trying to hold on to it, because that's just the way, I'm sorry, guys, the way the world works. You sometimes are in the spotlight, sometimes you're in a back seat, and enjoying those back seats while still taking care of your baseline is where you would like your game to be. And I feel like Apex right now has probably fallen out of the spotlight of the genre, and also maybe some of the other incredible games that have been announced and talked about, especially since we were in the season of celebrating all of the games this year that have come out. Now, let's be honest, Twitch numbers are, however, somewhat relevant in determining whether you're in that spotlight moment, or maybe things are slowing down and you're waiting for that next marketing beat or that next update beat. And I think that Apex is in that zone. It doesn't mean that there isn't so much more to come. Listen, we've taken a break on our esports. We've been in off season there, so there hasn't been as much streaming or as much assistance from the esports marketing side or attention on these global scales. The game has really left players to just do whatever they want. Ranked has been kind of long, over 90-ish days, I believe, and so there's not been a huge reason to watch that. The culmination hasn't happened very quickly. You then look at the idea of streamers needing breaks, and when are you going to take a break? In the off season, or are you going to take a break now? And we've had a lot of events, a lot of time. The holidays are coming up. People are busy living their lives. I don't care. That is a good thing, and ultimately it is just a part of the ebb and flow of content and of gaming. I mean, you guys know what I mean. Sometimes you're ready to grind. Every night you're grinding for something. I played Diablo 4 every single day for like 3 months earlier on in the year, and I was in that zone. I haven't been able to touch the game, even though Season 2 came out over the last 2 months, because I've been busy with other things. And that's kind of the ebb and flow of it. I'll go back, and as many people will go back and grind ranked in Apex, or when the new season comes out, grind again. But it's important to recognize that doesn't mean a player is giving up on the game. And Apex, in my opinion, has done one thing that is very, very positive for its future. In fact, it's crucial. I think Apex has made itself into a household game. Now, there are other games that are very good as well. I mean, Fortnite is obviously maybe the marquee household game. You know, you look at Halo from the old school perspective, Call of Duty, maybe the modern household shooter game. But when you look at how difficult it is to become a household game that people just know they come back to whenever to play, they understand it's good, the same experience happens when they get in there, then you have to treat it like a long-term vision. You cannot treat this game like every moment is going to matter, because ultimately Fortnite even has had moments of being not really exciting, and now it's very exciting. A lot of people are looking at the rocket racing in Fortnite and all these other things that they're adding, the Lego Fortnite, and it's having a little buzz right now. Apex is in, luckily, the household game name, and I believe that that means that this has now cemented itself for the long-term vision, and it will continue to pave a slow but steady path upwards so that we can continue to create more moments and more opportunities for Apex content creators, Apex streamers, Apex professionals to thrive from this game. And while the Twitch numbers may be down for now, what it may mean though is that we are looking at a huge increase when the next season drops or the next big update launches. We also may just be seeing people taking advantage of the only news that there is in terms of Apex, which is the fact that something isn't actually going perfectly. Whereas this game has had so many moments of being really successful, it's really easy to look at the negative and see that that's the one point in the graph that doesn't line up with the very consistent performance that Apex has been producing over these last few years. I do want to acknowledge that Apex is probably in a slower moment right now, and I can't really put my finger on why. I don't know if it's just the off season. I don't know if it's just the game has been so good for so long that people are maybe veering towards new experiences and new things, knowing Apex will be there when they decide to come back. I don't know, but I do feel it. I do know that other people are feeling it. I don't think it's drastic. I think it's a part of the ebb and flow of a game's life cycle. But I do want to say, for anyone who is feeling down about it, that this is definitely just a part of the cycle. It is not where this game is ending, and surely, as always, Apex will have a very big uptrend, probably with this new January 9th patch that is coming out with the Final Fantasy collab, if not sooner. So now I want to talk about criticisms, because I think this is an important part the Apex community has, let me preface, gotten so much better at. I remember listening to Apex coming from Smite and Paladins and going, oh my God, every game is the same. Every creator ecosystem, when something goes wrong and they've got 99% of it good, 1%, the 1% that is pissed off, that is upset, is going to be the loudest and make it seem like the game is falling to pieces, regardless of the game that I'm playing. And, you know, honestly, I think that Apex has gotten demonstrably better at being more positive, being more constructive, having better conversations online, which is very hard to do. And you know how it is on Twitter or X, whatever it is. People have a very difficult time having good conversations there. It just devolves very quickly. So I feel like Apex has definitely created better lines internally to communicate with pros, to communicate with content creators, and to communicate with fans and players, because, you know, you guys are the ones that really matter. You're the ones who are actually driving whether this game is successful, actually playing the game. And so I think that is a very important thing, that they keep that communication line open and really address what people feel are the issues. Is it perfect? Do I think the content creator conversation is perfect? It got better. I would say it's 80% there. I would say it's 80%. There's still some heavy complaining, but hey, I get it, because it's people's job. It's people's money on the line. If this was, you know, you saw your income randomly tank by 70% because people just aren't watching because they're just not interested, it'd be hard not to, you know, take total responsibility and just find different avenues to start creating or offsetting that money, or having looked at, well, I could have planned for this and you know, saved a little more, whatever it is, that would be hard. It's very easy to look at, well, this game is not keeping people's attention, and this is why the game is to blame. I kind of understand it. I don't personally take that route because it doesn't leave me with any accountability or power in my life. I kind of get to, you know, be swung along by whether a game is successful or not. But I will say that I think people are ultimately getting better at having better conversations here. Now for esports, and I think the esports landscape is important for all games. I think people are realizing it, maybe except Fortnite, which has a good esports scene, but I don't think it carries nearly the weight of the game. I think Apex and Apex Esports, the ALGS, have a fantastic relationship, and I want to continue to see that grow over year 4. Year over year, we have seen in the ALGS more and more viewership and more retention, which means people are watching longer and more people are watching, which means we're doing something right. And I ultimately think that this year could be a breakthrough year for the game. I mean, one of our color commentators, Dan Gaskin, won Color Commentator of the Year at the Esports Awards. We had many others like Mark Onset Hatcher, his partner, nominated for the award, and we've had so many great moments on the desk. We had even our analyst, Genome, from APAC South get nominated for an award as well. So there's been a lot of really positive trends heading into this next year, and I think that Apex is growing not only as a game, but it's growing as something legitimate in the space of esports for many years to come. Now, while esports doesn't, I think, directly impact the game's player base, I think what esports does is it makes that player base more cohesive and connected and builds a community. And I think when you have a community, it is very hard for that to get broken apart, which ultimately is a positive for the game because it really keeps players engaged on multiple levels. Not only are you talking about what you're doing in game, you're talking about what other players are doing and what you want to aspire to do, things that you're learning. It gives you moments to spend your free time on Apex that you're not playing Apex. Maybe you got to go to work and you can't play, but you're watching the esport. So essentially you're giving 10 to 12 hours a day to Apex even when you're not playing. It gives them another outlet and another reason to care. And when people care, people move. And I think that's what Apex has done well with the esports scene. And I'm glad and happy to have been a part of it from the beginning. I'm so excited to hopefully be a part of it in year 4. We'll find out about official announcements and stuff like that in the near future. But I just want to say that this is a special time. And I think that this growing, to me, is a huge sign of the overall health of the game and the ecosystem of the esports and actual video game relationship. And just to wrap on the esports part, the ALGS also introduced their partner program, which means that pro teams are actually going to have an opportunity to be provided with a financial stipend to help establish a base with their competitive programs. This just means that they're not going to be totally out to dry when it comes to fielding teams, creating salaries for teams, flying teams, doing all that. They're actually going to receive some money, which means that that will give them stability, a baseline, and at least some profit potentially in return for participating in the ALGS. And that's going to keep orgs around. That's a great step towards sustainability in an esports ecosystem which hasn't been very sustainable this year. And let's be honest, if you're a fan of esports and you watch content creators, if you're on X or Twitter, you obviously have seen layoffs be a huge part of our industry this year. And I'm going to have a whole separate video talking about this and why. But I want you to know that gaming overall is actually still growing. And that's what's important to parse. The fact that esports hadn't had a sustainable model does not mean that gaming, like Apex and like Fortnite, like any of these other huge games, Baldur's Gate 3, are not earning more and more each year. The industry of gaming is profitable. The model for esports is changing, and we are in that change period, which means certain things get adjusted, certain things get left, and there will be some lag time before everything goes back into that upward cycle yet again. And it will be felt in the entire ecosystem, from brands to sponsors to streamers to content creators to YouTube videos to esports teams, esports leagues, and it will feel like it is a part of the game. It will feel like Apex is in a position that, what's going to happen? No, I'm telling you right now, Apex is here to stay. This game is such a successful game. There is nothing to worry about in terms of its longevity. The only thing that we're trying to talk about is, are there any pain points that need to be discussed? And are there any immediate next steps to take for Apex to really kind of I don't know, get back some excitement, while other games are also kind of coming out and creating a very difficult holiday season. And I honestly think there may not be. I think sometimes getting used to understanding that sometimes it is not your moment is okay. And I think it's a good skill in life. I don't know if the holiday season for these next 3 weeks are really going to be Apex's big burst of players. However, I do think in January, it's going to kick back off. And with the Pro League starting back up in January as well, I feel like we are going to be out and ready to run, especially with people going back to work and getting back into their routines. Right now, a lot of the people who are playing Apex or who would play Apex on a regular basis might be spending more time traveling, maybe spending time playing family games because families have been around for Thanksgiving and upcoming for Christmas or for Hanukkah or for New Year's, and they might be taking different systems or not focusing on that competitive game anymore. Maybe they're playing board games. I don't know. I know I've been doing all of the above. And so all I have to say is be patient with it. This is my honest take. This is actually how I feel. And like last year, when people were worried about Apex, I decided to make a ton of content analyzing pros, looking at the way that they play, and helping to teach you guys here on this channel how special you can be if you have the right role models teaching you what to do. I continue and want to continue doing that next year, but take it to an even better and more consistent level. But of course, I want to have you guys watching and engaging. So please let me know what you think about this. Are you worried about something? Am I being too optimistic? Let me know in the comment section below. And also leave a like, subscribe, and remember to never give up, never stop gaming, and I'll see you all next time.